ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau. Once again, I'm going to do 5 miles tonight. So we listen to a loud muffler, exhaust leak. I waited till later afternoon because it was hot today. Right now we got 76 degrees. Now I was going to do a kind of a city walk off the beaten path that I usually walk, but I decided not to because I don't feel like listening to traffic tonight. We got my doggy friends over here I haven't seen for a while. They're all excited. The yard is all dusty. We haven't had any rain. Look at that. Hi guys. Hi doggies. Hi. Dogs are funny. Anyway, we're gonna walk on. So we got a few things to talk about tonight. I'm going to extend this, bend this like this. Hi everybody. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau. I got my selfie stick. A nice night tonight. Excuse me. And wow, really big news today just came out. The Teamsters Union, which is a huge endorsement for any candidate, they have endorsed the Democrats since 1996. It's not a surprise. Well, this time they have come out and they're not endorsing Kamala Harris. The Teamsters are not going to endorse anybody this year. That's the first time they've done that since 1996. Internal electronic voting among Teamsters had Trump at around 60%, the workers' support. And the Teamsters Union doesn't want to endorse Kamala because the Teamsters workers are not with Kamala. They're with Trump. So basically, by them not endorsing Kamala, that's really endorsing Trump, because even though they're not endorsing Trump. So they can go ahead and say, okay, well this year we're going to be neutral. Well, that's because there's a lot of money with the unions. They've long endorsed Democrats, and they're not going to come out and endorse Trump, even though they know they should, because they're supposed to represent the workers, and the workers are voting for Trump. So that much is obvious. So anyway, this is a big deal for Trump. It is an endorsement for Trump, even though technically it's not an endorsement. So Democrats are not very happy with that today, and they shouldn't be. So another crooked poll came out today. Quinnipiac which is a really terrible polling company. It's like, you know, now you go to RCP, and I know I had said to you guys, go to RCP and, you know, you can rely on their averages. Well, you can't, because there's only about 4 honest pollsters going right now. And so the problem with that is they are skewering their polls. Thank you. And they're skewering their polls because a lot of them are university polls. They get money from the White House, federal funding. So, you know, they want polls saying Donald Trump's a piece of crap, and they're cheerfully providing those by oversampling by 5%, 5 points. So the honest polls, for example, have Trump leading Pennsylvania 1 or 2 points. And the dishonest ones say that Kamala's leading Pennsylvania by 4 points, which is BS, because she's not. And it's really crazy. But anyway, that was a big win for Trump today. And you know, the way I look at it is, if Kamala is winning Pennsylvania, why the hell is the Teamsters not endorsing Kamala? So, you know, you can see the writing on the wall. Nate Silver, who is a big predictor, trusted in the business, is now currently getting ganged up upon by these crooked pollsters I told you about, because he issued a map today. All right, he issued a map today with his prediction for the election, and he took all of the toss-ups off the map, and he listed only the states that Trump is leading in. And Trump is winning easily, according to his map. And he's done this for a long time. He's made a living at it. The other polling companies are putting pressure on him not to support Trump. And that's really the problem, okay? Nate Silver is not a conservative. He doesn't like Trump. He runs a polling company. He needs to be honest. And the companies that don't rely on a business model because they're funded by federal money are trying to pressure them into putting negative polls out against Trump. Now, why would they do that? That is what I have mentioned on here many times. It's called suppression polling. Suppression polling is where you get all these polling companies to say your candidate is winning by whatever means necessary, whatever promises you got to make. It's all hush-hush, under the table, in the closet, behind closed doors, where you get these companies, as I just almost got creamed by an acorn falling out of the tree, that I have been hit on the head before with acorns, by the way. One of these days you'll get to see it. But they're trying to pressure Nate Silver to change his model, and he's not going to. And that's another thing that tells me how much these other companies are cheating, because they're not changing, they're changing their models and putting Trump ahead behind by 3 or 4 points. And like I said yesterday, they have Kamala winning in the states that she has to win the election. And they're trying to give the appearance that if you want to be on the winning team, vote for Kamala. This is all geared towards independent voters. They do this every election cycle, so this is nothing new. But I'm starting to see other companies not go along with it, which is really good. And I think the 2 assassination attempts on Trump has a lot to do with that. And I think that is just personal decisions by the people that own the company, who respect Trump for doing what he's doing despite what he has to put up with. And I think they've just decided to be honest. Granted, it's a handful of companies out of a whole ocean of biased polling, but you know, the worst offenders is the polling that the AP uses, Reuters, New York Times, you know, the polling companies like Siena, Ipsos, that's a big one. There's a bunch of other ones too. And the problem with them is, like Bloomberg, is they bias so much that their numbers affect the average. So if you get 12 polls and 3 of them have Trump ahead by 3 points, and then you got 3 bad polls, like one of the Bloomberg ones, I think they had Kamala ahead somewhere like 13 points. Now that affects the entire average, and it gives Kamala the lead, obviously, because it's a bad number mixed in with the other ones. So there's a lot of that going on. And but you know, like I always say, you got to pay attention to your common sense and the common sense things that happen. When the Teamsters Union, that always goes Democrat, refuses to endorse their candidate, that is indicative that they're losing. So if they felt Kamala was going to win, they wouldn't do that, because there would be repercussions. You know, she could retaliate against them with executive orders diminishing the Teamsters as a punishment, you know. So they're not going to endorse anybody. They probably want to endorse Trump because that's what the workers want. And the workers themselves are going to make an announcement shortly, tonight I think, even though the official union heads will not endorse him. So we'll see what happens. But this is really, really excellent news. Excellent news. 48 days until the election, or 46, something like that. Getting down to crunch time. So, the other news I saw is this arrest of P. Diddy. To be honest with you, I really don't know much about him. It's not my style of music I like. But he's a famous, rich celebrity who has the goods and the blackmailing sex videos of a lot of famous people. He's been blackmailing them, according to the court documents entered. And because of that, I heard there's some pretty prominent people. And again, I'm not going to throw this out there as fact, okay? Really important, and listen to me. This is my opinion, okay? Don't take anything I say as fact, and it's not intentional misinformation, but allegedly it's being reported in a couple of outlets. Again, I don't know how true it is, that J.Lo, okay, J.Lo, Jennifer Lopez, is on video having sex with minors, which would be teenage boys and girls. So we'll see. She was pretty prominent in the music business at the time, and so was P. Diddy. And this was one of P. Diddy's sex parties that he had, which was private. And apparently he recorded people doing illegal activities illegally with minors, and he's been blackmailing him ever since. So there's probably a lot of really nervous people right now, and they're arguing right now not to release him on bail, to keep him locked up because he's a flight risk, which he is. And that's what they did with Epstein. And Epstein got Epsteined. And probably the same thing's going to happen to this guy if he's kept in jail. I mean, oops, we don't know how it happened. He strangled himself in his cell. So I've got no sympathy for child rapists. I really don't. And I consider teenagers children, you know. And so we're gonna see what happens with all of this. So I'm glad to go on this walk with you. Hope you enjoy it. This is my daily walking vlog routine. It's not really a political vlog. It's not strictly an exercise vlog. It's just a whatever the hell I want to talk about vlog. I don't know what you would call that, as we just hit the 1 mile mark. So I do know that a lot of people have been liking the selfie stream aspect of this, because since I've been doing this, I've been getting more likes and commentary, which is good. I don't really do this for that. I'm not trying to build up a big giant vlogging channel. So, you know, I don't sing and dance. I'm not going to do a bunch of weird things. I'm probably not even that witty anecdotally, but I do like to babble. So, and I like to do so without getting hit by a car, which I'm trying my best not to. So, but anyway, decided to go for the walk when the sun started going down. Last part of this walk, it might be pretty dark. We'll see. But, yep, so the P. Diddy thing, like I said, I'm really not too familiar with him as a person or his music or anything about him, really. But this seems to be a very big news story right now, as well as it should be. Who's gonna be on it? You already have people trying to associate Trump with him because Trump took a couple photos with the guy. They did that with Epstein too. See, look, Trump's guilty. He was seen with him a couple of times. All right. Obama has photos with him too. So do a lot of other people. Hell, there's even wedding photos. Donald Trump's wedding. Bill and Hillary Clinton were guests at his wedding. So there's photos of them at Trump's wedding. There's also photos of Ghislaine Maxwell at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. So, you know, that seems to be the new thing. Oh, somebody took a photograph with Trump. It means Trump's this or Trump's that. Anyway, really big news today, actually, was Senator Blumenthal in Connecticut. Absolutely rabid liberal Trump hater. He hates Trump like he just absolutely hates everything about Trump. He was talking with the media today, talking about how the Department of Homeland Security is not cooperating with the Senate committee on the Trump assassination attempt in Butler. So the DHS is still stonewalling with information and documents. Blumenthal said today, to the point that it looks like they're intentionally hiding information. He goes, I would hope that's not the case, but that's what it's looking like. So when you have a rabid Trump hater who is accusing the DHS of shenanigans, you know there's a problem. Now, I told you on this channel a million times that I trust but verify. I don't come out and say the DHS plotted to kill Trump. I don't say things like that. I'm still not going to say that. Because there's two reasons why they would try to hide information and not reveal it. Either they screwed up and it was severe incompetence and they're just embarrassed and they're trying to hide it, or they're covering up something more sinister. And you know what I'm talking about. So there's really only two reasons why you would cover up information, even to Democrat senators who are your allies. So that's a pretty short list, don't you think? So anyway, that was a big story today too. I urge you to follow up on that. Congress Oversight, the House Oversight Committee, had a hearing today with the DHS people. I watched some of that as well, so that is something I urge you to check out also. And you have to remember, Mayorkas was impeached by the Republicans for incompetence with the border. He is the head of DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security supplied the agents for Trump's security team in Butler, Pennsylvania. A lot of people think it was mostly the Secret Service. It wasn't. The agents with him on the stage were apparently DHS assigned agents, who we saw one of them, that female, they didn't know what to do, and it was gross incompetence. So are they stonewalling information to cover up their incompetence, or to cover up something worse and more sinister? Let me know in the comments. I want your honest opinion on that. I don't have enough information to say that this was a conspiracy by our government to kill Trump. Not yet. But now we have a second assassination attempt. Okay? So, what does that mean, right? Well, there's a lot of different things that could be. Hi, doggy. So there's a lot of different things that could be going on there. And we'll have to wait and see what comes out with that. So it is what it is, right? If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a friggin' duck, right? So pretty disturbing, actually. But that's what's going on. So I would be really anxious to hear your point of view on this and what it could be. But it doesn't look good, does it? When you have an agency trying to hold the information and they're stonewalling till the election, hoping that Kamala wins. I would really hate to think that they intentionally left that roof open because they got information ahead of time that somebody was going to try to kill Trump. So that would absolve them from actually planning the assassination, but intentionally leaving a rooftop open. Somebody was killed and 2 people injured, and they missed Trump. So, you know, if you come at the king, you better not miss. There's going to be hell to pay for this at some point. And now we had a second attempt by somebody that was allowed to be outside the bushes between two trees along a fence, apparently for 12 hours, according to the phone ping they did on his phone. It doesn't mean the guy was there for 12 hours, but his phone was in his backpack. So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered still from Butler and now from West Palm Trump International Golf Course. Now, Trump has been active today. I believe he has a town hall tonight. Don't quote me on it. I've been busy with other stuff, but I knew he had 3 events this week. I'm assuming he's got something going on tonight, because there was a clip of him inside a local business talking with people in it. That was out today. So that's where he said that he was told that the Teamsters weren't endorsing Kamala. And typical Trump style, he goes, well, yes, I love the endorsement, he said. So now, of course, the media is saying, well, they didn't endorse Trump, they just didn't endorse Kamala. So he has this way of getting the media to talk about it in his favor while they're trying to disparage Trump for saying that they endorsed him. Now the media is going to talk about it to point out that they didn't endorse Trump, but they didn't endorse Kamala either for the first time since '96. So, you know, Trump plays them like that. I don't know if he does it intentionally, but that's what happens. And so now the media is going to talk about that all day. And they're still trying to say that, you know, it wasn't an assassination attempt because Trump wasn't in any danger directly with line of sight. And, you know, I explained it yesterday. You got the golf course, you got the 5th hole, the 6th hole. Trump's at the 5th hole, which is about 200 yards away from where the shooter was. The 6th hole is about 40 yards away from the shooter. So the advance Secret Service team went up to the 6th hole, and that's where they noticed the shooter and engaged the shooter, who was sitting there waiting for Trump, who was still 200 yards away, where the Secret Service agents were 40 yards away. So Trump was going to be at that hole to golf 40 yards away from the shooter with a direct line of sight, and Trump would be dead right now. But the media is not going to begrudge him anything on that. So it's insane, actually. So they're going to try to say that it wasn't a real assassination attempt because no shots were taken. This is how pathetic they are. Like, the guy was there between a couple of palm trees carving his girlfriend's name in the tree or something. Just happened to have his rifle with him and backpacks with armor plating in them and a GoPro. He hung it on the fence to record the whole thing, right? Come on. So these people on the internet are in denial still, but most normal people understand what that was. It was an assassination attempt, and fortunately they didn't get a chance to do it. So that's the reality of that, folks. Now, there's a lot of people on the internet, on social media, that believe Trump is losing in the polls very badly because of that debate performance, and it's just not the case. It's just not. And I don't want you to take my word for it. Go do your own research. Just ignore those stupid polls and go with the more factual ones. There are websites that show you which polling companies were accurate in 2020 and 2016. They're very few. A couple of them are conservative ones. And that's really the problem, because if you're a conservative one, you're automatically discredited. Oh, they're just Trumpers. They're tanking it for Trump. No. So What you should get in the habit of doing is pretty much every article that has a poll will also have a link so you can actually go view the actual poll that was done, either a PDF or some kind of Excel spreadsheet, and you can actually go check what's called the crosstabs. The crosstabs tell you the percentage, the number of people they polled, how they were polled, where they were polled, their political affiliations, their ethnicity, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, gay, straight, and if it's a really good poll, they will have their stats on who they voted for in 2020 and if that has changed or not. So there's a lot of information on the crosstabs, and most of these polls, if you look at the crosstabs and examine them, they have oversampled Democrats by 5%. That guarantees a favorable Democrat result, which makes the people that pay for the polls happy, namely the AP, Reuters, New York Times, Washington Post, etc., etc. Now CNN a lot of times will do their own polling, and a lot of time they have mixed results. You know, like an honest result they had was that they said Kamala Harris won the last debate. She did. It was not Trump's best shining moment, okay? I don't know what his problem was that night. Actually, I do. They ganged up on him, and they didn't fact check Kamala at all. And they spent the night fact checking Trump. And they actually fact checked him a couple of times with information that has since been debunked, but apparently ABC News didn't get the memo. So combine that with the fact that Trump could have not lost his cool, which he did. And you know, so okay, he lost that debate. He didn't lose on policy. Polling suggests that people liked his policy, and actually the CNN poll that came out after the debate in Trump's favor was that he actually gained 2 points on the economy with voters after the debate. And the number one topic is the economy with voters. And the second is immigration. So he scored very well on those two. And actually, Kamala lost 2 points after the debate on that polling topic. So they can run around and say, you know, Trump lost the poll, blah, 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 blah. But he did not lose on policy. She lost on policy. And so polling after the debate shows independents pretty decisively going over to Trump, who they weren't sure who to vote for before, after the debate. Those are the new poll numbers that are coming out that have Trump gaining a couple of points. And the media is trying to deny it, and they're using subterfuge with bad poll numbers. So the media is pushing the bad polls. Like the new one that came out today by Quinnipiac is an absolute friggin' insane joke, okay? It's a friggin' joke. You know, Kamala is now leading Trump by 5 to 7 points nationally in their poll. It's like, come on, really? No. That's not the case. So, but that's what we're gonna get. Okay, we're gonna get dishonest polling. And that's what we're getting. So anyway, hope you're enjoying the walk tonight, and this kind of a different view for it tonight. And you know, I get it. A lot of times I don't want to do selfie streaming because I gotta hold this the whole time I'm walking. I like putting the camera right here on my head, then I can just walk around and look at whatever. But I have to admit, this kind of view does look better when you can see what I've walked past. You can see the cars coming. I get it. that's the exciting stuff going on with the election today. It's kind of a big deal. And so like I said, all that stuff with Springfield, Ohio has actually shined a spotlight on Ohio. And the media has tried their best to turn this into a Trump being racist thing. But people are finding out, you know, a couple of pets did disappear. People did call the police. People have called Senator Vance's office, because he's a senator in Ohio, complaining about their pets vanishing. And so it's a factual stuff. And citizens did go to the city council and said that ducks were disappearing from the city park, that they witnessed immigrants killing them. So that's what people said. So if you're going to say Trump is a liar, then you got to say the citizens in Springfield are lying about the immigration problem there. So anyway, so this tree over here, you can see that there. That tree is really starting to look cool. See that up over there? So that whole tree right there is all starting to turn red. It's a pretty cool tree, I think. That should be a good shot right here. So we're starting to get into the thick of fall. Still not for another second week of October, I believe. And we're only about halfway, a little bit past halfway through September. So we're going to have the best viewing coming up in about 2.5 to 3 weeks or so. And I will take you on some walks and we'll see some nice beautiful trees. I want to make sure I get a nice sunny day to do that. And because they look really nice in the sunshine. Still warm tonight. I got sweat going on my brow. Not as hot as last night. Or yesterday afternoon on my walk where I got salt in my eyes. Now I had a picture sent to me by my older brother in Gorham, Maine. It's a pretty liberal area. There's a big giant Trump banner up on a hill, the size of a billboard. So I got a photograph of that sent to me. So that's pretty cool. We've also had a couple of neighbors putting up the Jared Golden opponent, Austin Terrio, running for Congress as a Republican. So we've seen those signs up. Personally, I don't think he's going to beat Jared Golden. Unfortunately, could happen though. But Jared Golden has a lot of the establishment behind him now, money, and it's going to be a tough one. The media is just not covering Austin Terrio. You know, that's the other problem. Jared Golden did say that they wanted to take assault rifles away from people. That was in the media a while back, so I hope people remember that. Then he changed his mind on it. It's like I've explained here. Democrats own AR-15s here and hunting rifles. I don't think they liked him saying that. Then he changed it to, he wants to see a national gun registry, where he didn't call it a gun registry. but he said he wants people to register their semi-automatic rifles and get a tax stamp like you have to do with suppressors and machine guns. Because machine guns are illegal in Maine. If you buy a machine gun and you need a permit from the ATF and a thorough FBI check, which can take up to a year. I think it's like $400 you pay for that tax stamp. And if you're denied, they keep your money and you don't get a refund. So you can get permission to have a machine gun. So Jared Golden wants to do the same thing for your basic AR-15s or Ruger Mini 14s or any of these common semi-automatic assault rifles, which is a made-up term. There's no such thing as an assault rifle. That doesn't matter to them, does it? So they're plotting against us. Whew. I'm sweating pretty good. So this is one of the Halloween houses here. They put up some decorations every year for Halloween. They don't have all their stuff inflated yet. So they usually do a lot of lighting at night too. So we'll be seeing those soon as well. Now somebody left a comment on my channel asking me if I ever do woods walks and hiking and things like that. Yes, I do. I have about 28 woods hiking videos on the Woods Walk Gun Talk playlist. So if you go on my profile, you will see tabs at the top. One says community, another one says playlists. So click on the playlist link. You'll see a playlist for my vinyl records. You'll see the playlist for shooting and gun range videos. And you'll see a playlist for my vlogging daily walk videos like this one. And then you will see a playlist for Woods Walk Gun Talk. That is the woods hiking videos. So a lot of that is about politics, firearms, and whatever else. So there's 28 of those Woods Walk ones. Most of them are at Thorn Craig in Lewiston, Maine, a nature preserve. And some of them are elsewhere. Like for example, in the walking vlog ones, you'll see ones that are, like I went to the Barker Mill Dam and the waterfalls there. And you'll also see the nature preserve in Auburn, Maine as well. So just check those out if you're interested in past ones. And I don't do a lot of editing, so a lot of times they'll be an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And a lot of people find that to be too long, but you can skip through them, you know, fast forward, you know, whatever. So this is that beautiful tree right here. It's starting to turn. 3 weeks from now, that whole tree is going to be bright red, orange, and yellows. It's one of the prettiest trees I've ever seen. I was very disappointed last year when the amount of rain that we had ruined the foliage. A lot of the trees just got too much water in the ground, and they do like plants do when you overwater them. The leaves turn brown and they fall off. So that's happened to a lot of trees last year. So hopefully we will get a beautiful shot of this tree. And this will be a whole bunch of leaves down on the side of the road over here. And That'll be a really nice, pretty view. A couple of years ago, it was gorgeous. So, and I came out this way in 2008 and took a whole bunch of pictures as well. And they're still some of the best pictures I ever took. So some years are better than others for foliage. And we're starting to see these. Now this is a cool tree right here because it's a dead tree, but the one behind it is blowing some leaves out, and the dead tree is being taken over by vines. So it's actually, that would actually be a pretty cool puzzle. Remember making picture puzzles? That would make a nice jigsaw puzzle, because it would be a pain in the rear end to make it, probably. So anyway, thank you for walking with me. We've got about 2.5 miles left, I think. With the route I chose today, we're about halfway through. So pretty soon I'm going to be walking with a hoodie. It's going to be getting cooler over the next couple of weeks. We'll have to say farewell to thee for summer. Oh, I see something sticking out up ahead. Is that somebody's dog? What is that? Nope, it's not a dog. I don't want to get eaten by a dog. Somebody's mailbox. I've always seen that mailbox there, but for some reason today it looked, you know, from way down there, that looked like something dark hiding behind. But as we get closer on it, we can tell it's a mailbox. That's weird because I've seen that mailbox here before. So, actually, I don't know if I did. Is that new? Yeah, that does look like a new mailbox. Sort of. I'll have to check my past walks, but brain works funny something like that sometimes. I probably walked by that 1,000 times and never really paid attention to the actual detail of the mailbox. And now I'm noticing it tonight and I'm like, is that a new mailbox? Probably isn't. I don't know what else to talk about. I do know that the Secret Service has announced that they're going to re-examine and restructure how they do everything. And also, I believe it has been requested either by Republicans in the Republican Party or the Trump campaign or somebody. I haven't really figured out who requested it yet. But they were requesting that Trump have full Secret Service protection, like if he were the president. Because Kamala Harris has full protection as vice president. Trump doesn't. He's just a citizen running for office. But I think given what's happened, I think Biden ought to be gracious and assign full Secret Service coverage for Trump, so they could do those perimeter sweeps before Trump shows up. And it would actually put Trump on a stricter schedule to be watched. So I think that would solve a lot of this. And that means he would get full sniper team protection like he did at the rallies in Butler. And which, by the way, it turned out that a local law enforcement is the one that took out the shooter, not Secret Service. So That's the other thing we found out after the shooting, which is good. Also, it was said that one of the bullets from the police sniper who fired a shot, I'm kind of confused by the whole thing, because they said that the shooter was shot in the head, and if you are down in a shooting position, prone, you have your chin resting on your stock, and he was shot in the head. And it also said that that shot that hit him in the head went through the gas tube on the rifle, which would have made the rifle non-functioning, because if you're familiar with the AR format, the gas tube goes into the stock. So that's why you can't have a folding stock on an AR rifle, which is why when the media tried to say that maybe he had an AR-15 with a folding stock that you could put in the backpack, and it's like, no. You can't have a folding stock on an AR format rifle. If it's got a folding stock, then it is not an AR format. So that's the thing, you know, you get these news reports that come out, and a lot of times it's just not accurate. Like the AK-47, and Trump still says it's an AK-47, but it was testified that it was an SKS, so it was not an AK-47. So similar bullet, similar capabilities. AK-47 is not a sniper rifle, but you can use it as one. And an SKS was a Russian rifle that the AK-47 replaced. That the SKS uses the same caliber bullet and same barrel length, all intent and purposes does the same thing as an AK, just doesn't hold as many bullets. So he had the full 30 round magazine, which it will accept if you use the aftermarket stuff that was on it. So it was basically the same rifle, so it's just a technicality. It's neither here nor there. So basically, you had a rifle that could do the job from 40 yards, all right? So the rest of that is just arguing about it, really. So anyway, we're gonna walk on, and so a lot of my when I go for my walks, or usually when I leave the house, I'll wear a loose fitting shirt, because I have my EDC on me, and I don't like to advertise it, so you could probably still see it bulging out, but perfectly legal in Maine. It's legal in Maine with constitutional carry. To carry a firearm concealed. It's also legal to keep one in my car, and so you can install those magnets wherever you want to hold your firearm, if you so choose. So anyway, there's no gun restrictions in Maine. There's no capacity limits, there's no magazine limits, there's no nothing. So they did enhance the red flag laws, and they did make a 72-hour waiting period when you purchase a firearm, but they haven't actually infringed on things like no threaded barrels and no this and no that. They tried to run a lot of gun legislation last year and it failed. And they tried to run 8 to 10 new ones that were the ones that didn't pass last year. And those didn't pass. And only 2 of those made it. And the Democrat progressive governor did veto one of them that did pass, which was very good for her to do that, because the way the legislation was worded, it had to do with binary triggers and assisted shooting devices like a bump stock. That was included in it, as well as doing custom work on your own triggers. Now, Maine is a rural state, a lot of hunters, a lot of Democrats. Democrats do polishing on their own triggers. They do things like they alter their firearm to have a set trigger. That's where you pull one device, whether it's a button or a trigger, and it allows you to pull your trigger back and it'll lock. Then all you have to do is just touch your trigger and it fires. It makes you a lot more of an accurate shot when you're hunting. So that's very common here. So the problem with the legislation was the way it was worded. That you could not have a trigger pull that resulted in more than one projectile being fired. That's the way they worded it. And the most obvious glaring thing is, well, what happens when you shoot double-aught buck or birdshot? You have multiple projectiles that go through the air on one trigger pull, don't you? So the governor realized that this was going to be a trapdoor kind of law. A lot of people pay big money to come to Maine for bird hunting, turkey hunting and deer hunting and all kinds of stuff. And a lot of people like to go hunting with buckshot, which is why it's called buckshot. You go buck hunting with it, hunt bucks with it. So you get different kinds of buckshot, from 9mm to 4mm pellets. And you can have anywhere from 6 to 14 pellets. So she vetoed that, which was a smart thing to do. So technically you can still get a binary trigger here, where a binary trigger is you pull the trigger, it fires, you let the trigger go, it fires again. So it allows you to fire faster. So we got a guy up ahead that's got a backpack on, and we've seen a lot of transients lately, homeless people carrying their stuff with them, and this might be one of them. I don't think he's looking for trouble. That's not to say homeless people are instant trouble, but sometimes unsavory people with mental issues are homeless. So we will pay attention to him when we come up upon him. See, that guy walking ahead with a backpack on. I'm going to hang a left up here anyway, like I have been lately. I'm going to take a side street. And it's the first time I ever leave the camera on the entire time I'm walking. A lot of times I don't like to do that because while I'm walking, people stare at me like, what are they doing? But I think people know that, you know, people do all kinds of stuff. They probably assume I'm live streaming or something. We're going to hang a left over here and down this way. And down over here. Couple of miles left. walk down through here. This is kind of a cool camera view to watch on the replay, I will admit. I did enjoy that. I really don't find myself to be that entertaining where people would actually want to see my face while I'm talking, but you know, apparently it's been made clear to me that you do like that. So I'm not going to have it on the entire walk most of the time, especially with the colder weather coming up, but I will have it on for now. As we go to the ambulance training place. This is where they train their ambulance and med tech people. It's also where they dispatch ambulances, or as I affectionately call them, bambulance. Call a bambulance. Which comes from an old 911 call I had heard on the internet, and I'm sure you've heard it by now. Where the guy said he needed a bambulance. I need a mother bleeping bambulance, he said. Because he had seen a deer on the side of the road, thought it was dead, and he put it in his car, and it woke up in his car and it went crazy and bit him on the neck. So he's telling the 911 operator that the deer bit him in the neck. It's a really funny phone call. He wanted to know if he could keep the deer. So I don't know why he asked that, because the deer bit him in the neck, was thrashing around in the car, and I guess either the deer died or he killed it, one or the other, but pretty bizarre. I'm sure 911 gets a lot of really strange calls. I'm sweating pretty good. See a lot of these around town. People get their own gardens. That's pretty cool, actually. I wouldn't mind doing that, actually. That would be pretty cool. I gotta try to get a Trump sign. I gotta try to get a Trump sign on the lawn. Doggies barking at me. Doggies, plural. So I got to get a Trump sign on the lawn. Got a Trump flag. The neighbors have Trump signs. They got a Trump sign on their lawn. They got a banner on their fence. They got a banner on their front porch. And we just got a Trump flag. So I'm going to get the Trump sign out there. I also have home video now, home video security. So main law is if somebody steals a sign off your property, it's theft of property. I believe it's a $500 fine, and if you have video of them stealing it, they will be charged, especially if it's got a license plate. So I will make sure to get that. It's not going to help with somebody just walking by and taking it though, but they will get recorded. It is a nice evening for a walk. It's early evening, and I realize this picture now is kind of jumping around on vibrations. That's just a lighting issue. So kid that lives here must have moved out, because I don't know how many times I've gone by here and you could hear him playing drums with the band in the basement. Haven't heard him for a while, actually, or her. Could have been her. I don't want to assume that if somebody's playing drums it's a boy. I've been seeing a lot of female musicians on YouTube playing drums. Some of them are just absolutely amazingly good. It's incredible. One is a Japanese girl who's 12 years old. She's mind-blowingly good. Another one, she looks like she's about 20, 21. She's playing friggin' Rush and Boston and all of this really good stuff. It's not easy to play. Playing it perfectly. So it's pretty good to see. I really like that. I'm starting to get hungry now. I started walking almost 2 hours after eating. I don't eat a lot of heavy, fatty foods. I'm really happy with my condition my body's in. Over the past 2.5, 3 years, I've lost 40 pounds, down to the lowest weight I've been since high school when I was fit. I'm fit now. I wear a lot of loose-fitting clothes. A lot of it is, this is an extra large t-shirt that used to fit like a normal shirt, and now it's baggy on me because of weight I've lost. I can actually fit into a large now. But I still like these because, like I said, because of the EDC, appendix carry. So now we're going to go get a view of the Halloween decorations the neighbors down the road are putting up. Look at that. Like somebody's got a tree stump they put in here. They pulled a stump in their backyard. That's always a lot of work. We'll flip this around so you can see this. Show you the kind of stuff they have. Isn't that cool? They'll have even more than that. You're just getting started, trust me on that. You're gonna have giant spiders up on the rooftop and giant inflatable things on top of their roof. That's crazy. But you know, you get a bad windstorm and they really pay dearly for that. They have to pull things down ahead of time before it gets here and deflate everything, cover it up, tie things down. It's a lot of work. Pretty cool stuff, I think. church across the street. Pretty awesome church. Pretty good sweat going right now. Might be able to get this whole walk in on this camera setting without having to switch over to the night view. Still looks alright, I guess. Somebody's muffler fell off. So if you're new to the channel, this is Walking with J.Beau. I call it an almost daily walking vlog. I don't walk every day, but most of the days I walk. I'll take one day off every couple of weeks maybe, or if the weather really just doesn't allow it. Even though I do have videos on the channel of walking in pouring rain. It all depends on the ambient temperature, type of precipitation, whether or not it's seriously monsooning or if it's just raining. If it's just drizzling, usually I'll just walk. If it's raining, like regular rain, I'll go for a walk. And so steady downpouring rain, probably not going to walk in it. But I could, because this camera is waterproof. But what I found is a lot of times you'll have water on the lens, and this has a small lens, so one little drop of water sitting on the lens, it ends up looking like the size of a friggin' four-wheel drive wheel in front of the camera, you know what I mean? It really blocks the view. So a lot of times I'll wipe the lens off with a cloth I keep in my pocket. There's only been a couple of walks where the cloth ends up getting so wet that I can't really use it. And right now my shoe is getting untied. So let's set the camera down for a second. You know, and every single time, this is one of those things I hate, okay? I have my EDC appendix carry, so that makes it difficult to tie my right shoe by bending over, so I have to put it up on something to tie it. I'll lay you down for a minute there. There we go. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to flip your world upside down. Actually, that's getting kind of dark, huh? I should probably switch. All right. Hey, everybody. I switched over to the nighttime ultra widescreen super view setting. Now you can see a lot of me while I'm walking, probably head to toe, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so it's one of those things when I'm walking, it's like I don't care when my left shoe unties, because I could just scoot right down and tie my shoe. But when I lean down to tie my right shoe, then it starts, the EDC gets in the way when you're trying to bend over. And a couple of my woods walks, you might notice that, because I climbed down a really steep thing down to a riverbank, and that was difficult to do because the way you had to come down when you're going downward, you have to bend over, and it makes it difficult when you have an EDC on you. Appendix carry. Now if I carried it in the small of my back behind me, I wouldn't have that issue, but for me, I feel really comfortable lifting my shirt up and pulling my pistola out, if I have to, on the front side. So it's just a preference thing, and some people are different. There's no right or wrong way to carry. Technically, now we got somebody coming down here, don't have their headlights on. It's dark. So, supposed to put your headlights on a half hour before it's dark, at dusk. Apparently she doesn't care about that. So anyways, we're heading on to the last stretch of this walk, and like I said, this is the first time that I have the camera on me for the entire walk. I don't know how exciting that is or not. If it's something you enjoy, that's good. And you know, but then I got things to worry about, like how does my hair look today? Did I shave? And my face is getting all sweaty. Does it look terrible? And blah, blah, blah. But it would be nice if we could see some deer out here. I usually see deer around here. Seeing one tonight would be pretty cool, actually. So we just hit 4.5 miles, according to the lady in my ear, my walking app. My girlfriend is talking to me. So now the past couple days walking, I've felt kind of flat. Tonight I feel really good and strong again, and I took iron last night. And I told you I have celiac disease caused by processed foods, which I no longer eat. So this might sound disgusting, but I need to say it. If you're having bowel problems and you have loose bowels and it gets getting worse, what did that to me was processed foods. Specifically, I found out the main culprit that was affecting me is I would have cornflakes every day for years. They changed their ingredients to have more of a modified, process. Cheaper for them to make it, and but basically what it is celiac disease, where these glutens and things like that you take into your body cause inflammation on the lining of your small intestines, and inflammation causes scarring and damage, and I wasn't absorbing nutrients like I should, and it was causing malnutrition, malabsorption. I wasn't absorbing iron, and I wasn't absorbing B12. Now B12 in natural foods is pretty rare and difficult for your body to get, and your liver stores about 4 years worth of B12, which is extremely important for nerve health. The little fatty tissues that connect your nerves, where your nerves connect to each other, like these little junctions throughout your entire body, it's covered by a fatty tissue that protects it from your immune system attacking your nerves. which is where the, oh, a little frog just skidded into the weeds there. I almost stepped on him. So good thing I didn't step on him. I would have felt bad. But anyway, these little fatty things cover your nerve connections. And when those are exposed, and your immune system starts attacking your nervous system, which is what multiple sclerosis is, muscular dystrophy, a lot of these other autoimmune diseases. Diabetes is an autoimmune disease where you have problems with inflammation in your pancreas. So it's exacerbated by people that are overweight, which is why a lot of people get diabetes that are obese. So there's a lot of things like that it's important that you have all your nutrients that you need. So basically it was getting to the point where I would eat something and 3.5 hours later I'd have severe diarrhea. So I thought I was dying. I thought I had colon cancer or something, right? So what I did was I got a CT scan with contrast dye. I got scoped and I had a follow-up CT scan, and they found no bad problems other than the celiac disease. I guess this person broke down or something, I don't know. So I think that person broke down there. Yep, she had a mechanical problem. Truck won't run. Something quit on it, and she's on the side of the road. She's got help there. So anyway, what I was saying is I had these fatty tissues shrinking up on my nerve coverings, and I got neurological damage. I was getting tingling on the left side of my face. My left thigh went numb. The ball of my foot on my left foot was numb. I couldn't feel it. You could poke it with a needle, stick it right in there, and I wouldn't feel anything. And I had that on the wrist area on my left hand. And I was also getting hearing issues in my left ear. And so I figured out that that's what it was. And I started a B12 regimen with sublingual B12 tablets, or every month or two I could get an injection at the doctor, or I could just use the eyedropper with the liquid B12 under the tongue, because you can absorb B12 directly into your bloodstream under your tongue through blood vessels, kind of like nitroglycerin when people have heart problems. So because I have a really difficult time absorbing B12 through my intestinal system because of that damage that was done, the scarring. So that's a little something about me if you didn't know. So now I manage it and it's fine, but sometimes when I'm on my walks and I'm feeling run down and I shouldn't, that's probably iron. So I take a daily vitamin supplement, just I don't take it daily. I take it once a week because I don't want to overdo it on the vitamins either, because that's not good either. So I take iron every couple of weeks, a certain amount, and I do the B12 once a month under my tongue. And anyway, the point being is that I took cornflakes out of my diet, and within a month my bowel symptoms went away and I went back to having normal bowel movements. So I'm bringing this up because if you're watching this and you have these weird bowels that shouldn't be happening, it's probably the food you're eating. And all I did was I cut that junk out of my diet. I didn't go on a diet, I just cut the bad food out. I ate a lot more vegetables, meats, I ate a lot of rice. Because for me, pasta was causing gluten problems because it's wheat. Anything that's wheat. So I don't eat bread anymore. Once in a while I do. Corn flour seems to be okay with me, you know, like tortillas and things like that, but wheat flour, nope. And you still have a lot of people that when you tell them you have a gluten problem, they roll their eyes. Oh, he's one of these people. Oh, he's, you know, no, it's a legit thing, all right? So I'm just mentioning it, that if you have problems like that and you've talked to your doctor, and the doctors, you know, to be honest with you, they really don't look for stuff like that because they only know what they've been taught in school. And there's a lot of problems with the processed food that we have in this country. I've talked about it on my walks a lot. Like if you take a box of Quaker instant oatmeal, okay, those little packets, instant oatmeal. If you go online and you look up the ingredients for the ones they have in Europe, specifically the UK, you'll see that it has real strawberries, real sugar. It's got a lot of real ingredients in it. The American version of it, because they police that, and corporations will do what they can get away with. They'll have artificial flavoring, artificial strawberries, corn syrup instead of sugar, chemical processing, processed foods, all stuff that saves the corporations money, but it tastes pretty good when you eat it, but you're eating garbage. So do yourself a favor and start looking into that stuff. You're going to be really shocked at what you find. So with that, I'm going to end this walk in front of Pizza Hut, which would actually be a good snack right now tonight. I do cheat once in a while with something good. So we will talk to you later, and we'll see you on the next walk, friends. Thank you for walking with me. God bless you and your family. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the next walk. Thank you for watching.